Every aspect of our great country is broken. We have a rich and extraordinary history in which for centuries we have punched above our weight militarily, economically, strategically, diplomatically. And I have no doubt that with the right leadership and under the right management, our greatness can be reawoken. It isn't actually complicated. We just need cheap energy which will bring down inflation, which is a tax on everyone, especially the poor. The ideology of net zero has got to be thrown out the window. Instead, let's have a mix of nuclear, green renewables and fossil fuels which are available in plentiful supply on our own shores. We need proper border control. The boat crossings should be reduced to zero annually and legal migration should be in the region of 50,000 per year with a commitment to contribute to the economy, to speak the language to a very high standard, to obey the law, to participate in the culture and values of this country, and to integrate. It isn't complicated. We need to reverse the great crime of the Boris wave. 2.6 million people brought into the country over 5 years, half of whom will never work, and which presents the taxpayer with a long-term bill of a reported £250 billion. You heard me right. £250 billion is the bill that comes with the Boris wave. And most importantly, we need to change the culture of this country so that it pays to work. I've lost count of the number of people I've spoken to, friends, neighbors, people I know in my local area, who tell me they're at the tail end of a 12 or 14-hour shift. They're into their 5th, 6th, 7th day of working, and they feel completely punished rather than rewarded for the hours they are putting in. Which is why I welcome this new announcement from Reform UK and Nigel Farage to scrap income tax on overtime for anyone earning up to £75,000. That is the right economic policy, and it is the right messaging too, that it pays to work. This rewards people for putting in those extra hours. It's quite clear that overtime for many people is a matter of survival. That is how they actually go out of the red into the black, the extra hours that they work, which is why it's such a crime to tax them for their extra toil. Now, Nigel is going to have to dot his I's and cross his T's and make sure that this isn't exploited. And of course, he's going to have to pay for it. £5 billion is the bill for this policy. If you ask me, that is money well spent because we need to change the attitude to work. I was in my local supermarket yesterday. I go to all the supermarkets, I get some of the basics from Aldi, and I will indulge in a Waitrose. And there was a guy in there and he was working hard. He was unpacking bottles of sparkling water onto the shelves. He was putting a shift in. We chatted a bit about the weather and we were talking about the bank holiday and the heat wave. And I said, "Oh, have you got tomorrow off?" And he went, "No, I'm working tomorrow." "Have you got the bank holiday Monday off?" "No," he said, "I'm working right through until Thursday." No bank holiday for this guy. He's on overtime. Why? Because he's serving the business he works for, he's helping his colleagues, and he's paying the bills. No special break for him. No holiday, no sunbathing. And that demonstrates the issue in this country, that the people who do the right thing, who put the hours in, they're the mugs. Because this guy working at Waitrose, he'll have neighbors who are sat at home stuffing down Domino's pizza and watching Netflix and guzzling bottles of Diet Coke whilst he puts a shift in and misses the entirety of the sunny bank holiday weekend. The incentives are so wrong. Don't forget it was revealed 2 weeks ago that 600,000 households are better off not going to work. Make it make sense. It is insanity. I also spoke to a friend who works in the NHS. She told me about the unsocial hours premiums that public sector workers already get 41% on top for Band 2 workers on Sundays, 83% for public holidays. They've already got a system that rewards them for antisocial hours. And she made a good point, that if this policy is going to work, it needs to apply fairly across both public and private sectors. The devil will be in the detail. But the principle is sound. It has got to pay to work hard, and if not, the price we all pay will be colossal. So here's what I think. This policy, scrapping income tax on overtime up to £75,000, it's a start. It's a signal. It says that this country will reward effort again. It says that if you put the hours in, you get to keep what you earn. That's the kind of Britain I want to live in. A Britain where work pays. Where the person stacking shelves through a bank holiday weekend isn't subsidizing the person watching Netflix on benefits. If that resonates with you, like and subscribe. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And comment below, I want to know what you think. Would this policy make a difference to you? Because the conversation is only just beginning. Thanks for listening.